Okay. Well, I'm gonna call us to order at 10:02. So since both our chair and our vice chair are absent this meeting, first order of business will be to elect a temporary chair to run the meeting. Have any nominations?
I nominate Mr. Ortman.
A second.
Dennis, are you willing to take that on? Okay. I will read through the review sheet if your voice is not.
Yeah, that's, you may not want to listen to it.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
And any opposed? Wonderful. Okay.
Good morning and welcome. Are there any citizen comments that have come through to you, Katie?
No, there isn't.
And are there any citizen comments from the audience? Probably not. We'll hear from you when we get to your section, right? Okay. So the first order of business is the approval of the minutes for November 7th, the regular meeting that has been presented to you and sent in a package to your house. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of November 7th?
move we accept the minutes from the meeting.
Lisa has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Bob has seconded. Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
I,
And the special meeting on the 14th of November. Those minutes are also in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of November 14th?
needs to be somebody that was at the meeting. I was at the meeting.
Pardon?
Probably needs to be somebody to motion that was at the meeting and I wasn't at the meeting. Approve the minutes.
Linda has moved that we approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bob, second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Right?
Good morning, Cassie. We know you're there.
See you.
Sorry, good morning. I'm just trying to get to the unmute button.
That's good. Glad you're there.
Thank you.
There's no old business that I'm sorry, we're at the certificate of appropriateness for the West End Historic District, an application by Joe Rake on behalf of Brandon, is it Beer? How do you say his name?
Buyer.
Okay. Buyer at 301 Main Street. The proposal is for repointing the brick joints on the west facade of the building, including any needed repairs or replacement of broken bricks. This is an action item that we have before us. And we
So in your packet, there is an application and Mr. Rake is here for any questions you guys might have. You've probably seen the scaffolding that's up on that west end of Morgan's Alley, that is 301 Main Street. So currently they're doing some maintenance work, which is allowed without a certificate of appropriateness, and then they will move into doing the repointing. They'll be doing that whole front there and the second story front. The second story is a third story.
It'd be the third story on
Yeah, so the third story front that sits kind of back. So all of that will get repointed, cleaned, any repairs that are needed, if any broken bricks. I think you said there are a couple bricks like up towards the parapet.
Very fortunate.
Been very fortunate so far.
Yes.
So they would replace any bricks that were damaged and could not be repointed. There's no kind of change to the building. So in your packet is a narrative of the work being done. And I did try to like mark out because Mr. Rake had to provide the same narrative to Public Works for closing of the sidewalk and putting up the scaffolding. So I tried to mark where they were Public Works items and not historic preservation items, just so you don't get confused about which parts you need to review. The checklist is in there with some notations regarding the color, location, joint profile, those sorts of things, the mortar information. Good morning, Ed. And then there's photos of the building itself. So you can kind of see that we have more than one color of brick just because of how Morgan's Alley has developed
Built, yeah.
in over the years. So there's a couple pictures of Morgan's Alley, and then there is information regarding the actual mortar material. lots of kind of just technical sheet information regarding the mortar material. And if you guys have questions about that, Mr. Rake is here to provide answers.
You have information you would like to share with us at this point?
Yes, I do. To expand on the mortar that I'm planning on using on there, it's lime mortar. And it goes back to the original state, which the difference in color in brick that Katie just mentioned, that happened originally when Bill Morgan developed it. And I actually worked on that crew 48 years ago that we did that. And the corners that you see are built with Portland cement. And they're not as agreeable to repointing as the lime mortar is, because the owner here in this case, his timing was perfect because the brick are still intact enough where the lime mortars will release, and the preparation for it's going very well. In other words, we're having a minimal amount of broken material, trying to take the old lime mortar out.
Miraculous with that soft brick.
Just perfect timing, just kind of luck there. So that's what we're doing, the maintenance to put it back in. And the lime mortar is very, very old. It has a huge history. It's a single source. Comes from Saint Esther, France, from the same quarry. It has for thousands of years. It's in the Roman Colosseum. It allowed plastering as a trade to develop because of its flexibility and breathability. And we're finding out now, just since the last 50 years when we did that with Portland cement, that the buildings, we were trying to get everything stronger. And now we realize that we could give up a little bit of that strength and flexibility, and most of all, breathability. So the technical advice or the technical knowledge that I've turned in is basically it. As far as the safety sheets and the technical data on the mortar. And it just doesn't, it needs to be put in, but not sealed. And that's going to be the different application from what we did. So,
That's interesting information. Any questions from the,
You're just doing the west end, is that just that one wall, is all you're doing?
for right now, the client wants to do the 2-story end in the fall, which might slip into spring. But as the weather improves coming out the spring, he wanted to go up on that 3rd story. And so we encapsulated the
So right now it is just the west side of the building, not looking south or east. Right.
so
Those
since
sides are
we-
still okay.
since we included it, so I can't reach that 3rd part by scaffolding. So basically it would be a sidewalk permit for a forklift to pretty much like on a Sunday morning, take everything up, put it on the roof and be ready. We have to go out the window.
Room? Through window?
Yeah, we have to go out the window and do that second portion off ladders.
hey,
Any other questions?
shall we
for-
walk through the sign guidelines then?
Do you want to read or you want me to read?
I can try. We'll see.
Want me to read? I can read it.
We're in section A, I believe, right?
Yes.
Brick, stone, and concrete buildings with brick exterior walls may be structural, load-bearing brick, or simply a brick veneer covering another structural material. And number 1, under A, is preservation of historical brick, stone, concrete exterior walls. Does that come?
Yes.
Yes. I agree. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Repointing with the same type of mortar used historically and only if needed. Preserving its original mortar if it remains in good condition. We think we've had the mortar report.
Yes.
Yes.
Leaving brick, stone, or concrete walls unpainted that were not painted historically. Brick masonry naturally has a water protective layer or patina to protect it from the elements. Painting can seal in moisture and prevent the brick from breathing. We're okay with that one too?
Yes.
Are we saying yes or are we saying not?
Yes.
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 Cleaning brick, stone, and concrete only if needed, and then with the gentlest materials possible, research and test cleaning procedures before applying them. Low pressure water and detergent using bristle brushes is often effective. If we have any issue there, right?
We're not planning on using any chemicals or acids or anything of that nature, just elbow grease and bristle brushes with the lime mud.
Yes, we're going with yes.
Proper
Yes.
drainage, okay, number 5, proper drainage to prevent water damage to brick, stone, or concrete masonry. Yes. Moving on to section 2, metals. Do we have any metals involved in this? So then that means that we can skip that section. Do we have any historical wood that we're preserving on that side? While you do this?
There's no wood up there. There's some trim, but it'll remain.
Okay. So nothing for section C. Section D, design guidelines for historic building elements. You want to read through that one, Katie? One probably fits, but
I think number 1 might be the only one because it talks about.
so it is preservation of character defining historical features of the storefront and main facade, including display windows, bulkheads, entryways, doors, transom lights, upper story windows, cornices, and parapets.
I think the commission could decide that that curved doorway and that curved window are character defining features, and
They are.
there's not gonna be any changes to them, so
I'd say
You-
it
you
implies
could-
it, but yes.
you could say that, yes, it complies, or you could tell me that you don't think it.
And number 2 is talking about altered. And we're not altering any features, right? So number 2 doesn't apply, and number 3, if altered storefront, we're talking about an altered storefront.
Still not all, yeah.
And
That's
then
not-
preservation of historical storefronts on secondary building facades. We don't have a secondary building facade, right? So that's not applicable. Windows, we don't have any discussion of windows.
Nope.
Doors, the same thing for section F. We don't have any door discussion. Section G, we're not doing anything with the roof. Is everybody agreeing? Awnings and canopies, we're not dealing with at all. Chimneys. Or balconies. Are not being dealt with as well. Moving on to section K. We are not converting the building or doing any changes there. L, design guidelines for parking. We're not dealing with any parking. I can take this over to new construction, and we're not dealing with new construction. I would entertain a motion from the floor for certificate of appropriateness.
Recommend that we approve the building, is it 301 Main Street? Where Morgan's Alley's brick restoration.
Been moved. Is there a second? Okay, Ed has seconded. Any further discussion? Any further information from you?
Only if you have any questions about our MO or what we're about to do, but all of that assumption is correct and is parallel with how we feel about it, and all the details that you read off were correct. Windows, awnings, all that thing is correct. So we're considering ourselves doing some maintenance on the west wall.
No,
Sounds good.
some preservation.
Yeah, preservation, all,
Very definitely preservation.
Yes.
And the
all in
key
favor of the
there.
motion indicate by saying aye.
I,
Any opposed? Thank you. So the certificate of appropriateness has been approved. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Yeah, bye.
And the second one is for the certificate of appropriateness on Normal Hill Heritage Overlay Zone. It's an application by Dalton Skaggs. It's right at the beginning of your packet there. 215 First Avenue. The proposal is to replace 3 single pane windows with new waterproof vinyl windows.
Okay, so in the packet. Photo of what the house looked like before, so it is a bay window with 3 windows in it. So they are replacing all 3 of the windows, so the 2 side ones will be all 3 will be vinyl. The 2 side ones will be the same where they have the bar across the middle and they can lift up, and then the one in the middle will be a single pane that does not have an opening. And so then the window replacement information from Clarkson Glass is included, so you can see the 2 that will open up, the one that does not. They are the same size. They're not changing the size or anything, not changing the openings. Literally just replacing them so that water no longer gets into their house.
Good idea.
State Line Construction, a new firm for us? I haven't
No, Perry has been around for,
ever.
yes,
Have we just not had?
Are these gonna be white?
I believe they are white. They are white.
Like there will be some other repair work as time goes on. Any initial questions before we start working through the packet? We'll move ahead. In section 1, if a proposal is found to be consistent with factors 1, 4, 6, it shall be considered deserving of a certificate of appropriateness. And number 2, that we'll be observing as well, if a proposal complies with at least 2 factors, 1, 4, 6, it must be in compliance with at least 3 of the remaining factors, either 2, 3, 5, or 7 to be deserving of the certificate. Okay, so if an application complies with 1 of the factors, 1, 4, 6, or none of them, then the application must also comply with at least 3 of the remaining factors, 2, 3, 5, 7. So that Katie will be helping us through that to make sure that we're in line there.
Yes, do you want me to read through the factors?
Yeah, if you will.
So number 1, the historic character of the property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alterations of features and spaces that characterize a property should be avoided. Going to maintain the bay window when replace the physical window itself. So do you think that complies or not?
Yes.
Number 4. Number 4, distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a property shall be preserved. Six, new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property unless such work is for replacement of inefficient or failing materials, fixtures, or systems with modernly designed and constructed replacements that duplicate, replicate, or result in substantial conformance with the visual appearance or integrity of a historically significant aspect of the building. So this is replacement of failing materials.
Mhm.
Yes, it complies.
Yeah.
Fantastic, okay. Number 2, each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features or architectural elements from other buildings, shall not be undertaken. Number 3, most properties change over time, and those changes that have acquired historical significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. I would say that one's probably not applicable. In A. Okay. Number 5, deteriorated historical features shall be repaired rather than replaced, where the severity of the deterioration requires replacement of the distinctive feature. The new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities, and, where possible, materials. Replacement of missing features shall be substantiated by physical or documentary evidence.
This is the iffy one for us when it comes. to
This is the iffy one,
I would say
because
this is the iffy one.
they could use wood, because the original windows, I'm sure you're looking at wood materials, but
They look like they're made.
vinyl, but they have failed.
I'm surprised they haven't ordered brown vinyl or something.
I am under the impression that the colored vinyl is much more expensive than the white vinyl.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think cost plays a factor in that.
Sure. The estimated cost as is
Yeah,
is up there.
yeah, windows are not cheap.
No, it's in the labor.
And that, I mean, and that's just the windows. That doesn't even include, I mean, you can see that
Installation.
the estimated project values. Okay,
That's a chunk.
Right.
Yeah,
Three
so
windows, yeah.
we don't want.
well, and you, I mean, if it doesn't comply, it doesn't comply, and that is okay.
Well, I think the way that they're doing it, the two windows on the sides, they are gonna have that middle,
Middle bar.
the middle bar. They are changing the one, but I don't think it necessarily is changing the aesthetic.
Yeah, I
of
mean, it's
the-
just,
Of the
it's,
home itself, it's not
yes, because you're still
changing.
maintaining that bay window.
Right.
And that's really the.
That's the
Right.
feature.
And a vinyl window will outlast and outperform the wood.
But I would say that number 5 is really iffy for me.
Right. But
Well, so like I said,
this is,
you can decide that it does not comply, and that will be okay.
Okay, it still won't stop it.
It won't stop.
Okay,
I would say it doesn't apply.
yeah, I'd say it doesn't comply.
But does not, okay, super. And then number 7, new additions and adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that, if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. So this is not a new addition, so this
Yes.
place does not apply. Okay, so you guys decided that 1, 4, and 6, all comply. So for number 1, if a proposal is found to be consistent with factors 1, 4, and 6, it shall be considered deserving of a certificate of appropriateness.
All right, perfect.
But someone needs to move.
Yep, we need a motion, please.
So I move that the certificate of appropriateness by Mr. Skaggs at 215 First Avenue. It be allowed.
I'll second that.
Been seconded by Lorinda, Ed and Lorinda. Any further comments from the commissioners? Cassie, anything from you? We're okay.
Sorry, it takes me a while to get my unmute. Yeah, only comment is I just appreciate you guys' hard work and obviously, especially this meeting, and noticing that some things aren't going to be in with compliance, but you guys are trying to be fair as well as keeping the historical aspects of buildings and areas. And so I just appreciate that that's a hard decision to make, but you guys are doing what's right for the citizens that are trying to make improvements to their home, but also not be put out on financing, especially in our times, that economic times we're in. So I just appreciate all your guys' hard work. And if you have anything for me to share at the next meeting, just let me know.
All in favor of the certificate of appropriateness for Dalton Skaggs, indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to old business, there's none stated here. Anything that anyone needs to bring up? Commissioner comments next. I gave you a flyer on the nativity showcase at the museum and a little coupon for a cheaper ticket. The tickets are $6. If you're a member, you don't pay at all. But give that ticket away to somebody else, please. At that point.
And what are the hours? I'm sure.
The hours are, if you go to the QR code there, it will give it to you, and it's also on the website, and it gives you the website.
Okay.
There are a lot of strange days, but it's from the 13th of December to the 9th of January.
You have it all set up yet?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, no, and I have a lost Joseph and I have two of my big sets I can't find and you know how.
Oh, boy.
Four sets that need to be repaired and you know, there are all those kinds of things that happen.
okay, the nativity schedule, I used your QR code. The Friday, the 13th is from 11 to 4. Saturday, the 14th is from 10 to 4. Tuesday, the 17th, 10 to 4. Wednesday, the 18th, 10 to 4. Thursday, the 19th, 10 to 5. Friday, the 20th, 10 to 6. Saturday, the 21st, 10 to 3. And then they're closed to the holiday, and then it'll still be open after Christmas, so Thursday, the 26th, 11 to 6. Friday, the 27th, 10 to 6. And then Saturday, the 28th, 10 to 4. And then it does go for the first week of January too.
Great.
And the QR code does take you right to it.
QR code worked, good.
So how many are you gonna have down there? How many?
I have 445 sets.
I knew you had a lot, but I didn't know it was 400.
I told him that was an
Insanity.
inappropriate.
It truly is insanity.
Is that hoarding? No, I'm just kidding.
That's
No.
hoarding.
So-
I shouldn't talk.
So it's a collection,
It's a collection. No, I think that's really
is
cool.
what I would say.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a nice one.
After the
is-
meeting is closed, I'll tell you the hoarding story.
Where do you store it? I just have to ask, where do you store this?
In a so, in
You
a,
don't-
in a storage shed.
Oh, my.
And my attorney said that I had to put in my will at least $10,000 so that the kids could maintain the storage unit until they figured out how they were gonna get rid of them or dump them in the dump ground or whatever they're going to.
Right, you have to have a trust for the nativities.
Oh,
That's-
any staff comments?
Oh, I do have one. I was like, okay, so the first meeting in January is on January 2nd, and I am actually on vacation that week to spend Christmas break with my kids. So I wanted to ask the commission about the possibility of moving the meeting to the second Thursday, which would be the 9th. If anyone has any heartburn about that.
I will not
No
be here on
problem.
the second.
Yeah, I mean, it
So
being
the
the
9th?
second, that's so early,
That's
in the
fine.
month too.
So it's
So
to
what's
the
the
sixth.
first?
The day after.
It's the day of New Year's, so,
Good work.
so if January 9th is amenable to the group, we'll scoot the meeting and I'll do it as a special meeting and I'll cancel the regular meeting on the
I'll
second.
probably do it virtually.
That is fine.
And then we have the special meeting
Yep,
on,
and then we have a special meeting scheduled for 2 Thursdays from today, so that's December 19th, 10 a.m., same location. Zoom is available. I did send out that link yesterday. If you need to come via Zoom, please do so.
I believe.
Is that
you.
another certificate?
That is another certificate of appropriate for West End, for some signage. The Apt building is
Yeah.
being taken over
The new
by the
Mango.
Mango Tree, which is an Indian restaurant, and they are changing some signage, so
Awesome.
Do we
I'd
have a
like to get
motion
that.
for adjournment at this point?
check for them.
You all want to just stay here?
Yeah. I'll
Cold
second.
out, cold outside.
It's cold outside.
Yes.
Well, we are adjourned.
Okay.
And if you-
Bye, until next time, guys.
Yeah, good seeing you, Cassie. Thank you.
So how long have you been collecting that?
Yes, of course.
Oh, well, we got the first